Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Alan. I really appreciate that. Um, just wonderful day to all the moms out there, all the special moms that have raised sons and daughters like ourselves that are here talking ball early on a Sunday morning before many of us head out to church or breakfast or brunch with our moms and the special women in our lives, our wives, the people that we depend on as bedrocks in our family. So happy Mother's Day. So y'all, my boy Jonah, we got a special one. Okay, we got a special one. And as you guys come into the chat, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the hit the subscribe button. This is our Sunday service. We will be doing a live tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we will be doing a live with Jay from Unfair Sports, who covers Locked On Sooners. We're gonna have a little Red River showdown tomorrow night, talking about expectations for both teams in the SEC this season. So should be a fun discussion. Jay is our weekly guest on FP this week. And guys, remember, our goal is to get to 15,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel by August 30th, Ohio State, right? 15K by August 30th. So help me out. Many of you, the 30% that have not subscribed that watch us on a regular basis, please hit that subscribe button. Now, all the scuttlebutt out of the college baseball community that was caused by one Jonah Williams. He caused a stir. He made some people uncomfortable. Texas is down big against Florida on Friday, and at the dish, and guys are frustrated. People are, when I say frustrated, really more so the fan base. It seemed like the team had been sleepwalking, and the team just didn't have any juice. Right? It's not deep. Sometimes that happens, especially long season like baseball. Texas being the number one team in the country, they are expected to perform at a certain level, especially in conference play. And they're down 7-1, 8-1, whatever the score, down 7 runs. And Jonah's at the plate, and he's trying to get going. He's trying to compete, and everybody's trash talk doesn't look the same. Everybody's but what's funny is the etiquette of it's a few things, right? It's I like baseball. I grew up playing baseball. I don't have, this is not an anti-baseball rant at all, but I think many of us know, especially those of us who have watched different baseball go through its iterations, the etiquette stuff can get out of hand, right? I mean, people acted like you're not allowed to be competitive if you're down by a certain amount. I don't want guys that lay down. I don't want guys that just say, you know what, we're done, we're cooked, blah, blah, blah. I don't want that energy on my team. That baseball etiquette stuff. See, Jonah Williams, what he showed us is he's a football player first. Okay, that's the guy that's still because you don't have that mentality in football. You're still playing hard down 2-3 scores, right? Even if it's the fourth quarter, even if you're still playing, right? Like, or else what are we doing? So people talking about that's not the time and that's not the place and all the type of stuff. Go ahead with that, okay? Because the spirit, the energy shown by a guy that is supposed to be playing high school baseball right now, right? I mean, a lot of Jonah's peers aren't even enrolling in college until late summer. This guy's out here supposed to be getting ready for prom, supposed to be enjoying the last, if not getting ready for high school graduation. Now he's competing at high level SEC baseball right now. And on Friday was the lone competitive spirit on Texas baseball. And to me, that energy carried over into him having the 3-run double that blew the game open and won the game for the Texas Longhorns yesterday. And if you out here screaming, "Oh, it was because of the rain delay, Steve," that's another baseball thing that I just cannot stand. A lot of excuses, a lot of crossing legs, a lot of just nonsense. Let's come on now. Let's compete out here. If you're looking for dogs, you got one in Jonah Williams. If you're looking for dogs, you got one in Jonah Williams. And I cannot wait to see him with the pads on, uh with the other guys, right? With the Anthony Hill, because that's the same energy Anthony Hill had. And I keep making this analogy, and I want y'all to hear me now. That's the energy Anthony Hill had in 2023. That is the energy Colin Simmons had in 2024. That is the energy that Colin Simmons had in 2024. That is the energy Jonah Williams is bringing in 2025. I've always said you need that combination, that secret sauce of youthful, just raw talent, raw energy, raw just he's above wherever he's supposed to be at, with that veteran leadership and that the guys that have been there. You combine those two things, now you got something. And I get a dog like that on all three levels of my defense. Good Lord. That is exactly why he's going to play. And you know what? I'll say this. He might be your punt returner. He might be either your punt returner or your kick returner. Because that was something he did a lot of in he was an award-winning kick returner in high school. And a lot of that him being an outfielder, ball tracking skills, those things do translate. So I think he might be, again, I'm not, there's a lot of guys out there that I know that they're working through, right? Because Silas Bolden handled those duties the year before. It was Xavier Worthy. So, we're very particular with who handles those duties, rightfully so, right? But don't be surprised if he's either returning punts or kicks uh, come start of the season at minimum. And then I know he will rotate in. I know he will rotate in. If you're Steve Sarkisian, let me ask you this, chat. If you're Steve Sarkisian, how did you feel about how he was that? If you saw that, right? How fired up are you if you're his football coach? Because it's like you always hear about the two sport guys and the risk of injury and them worrying about especially if they're running track. Hey, their bodies might not be getting the fact that that man is getting competitive juice in the SEC matters to me. I think that's going to matter. I think that matters across sports. Playing in those environments, playing in that atmosphere, and not being scared, but being the one to rise up and fight amongst seniors, amongst juniors, amongst transfers, amongst everybody on that team. And Sloss has put together a hell of a team. That baseball, I know he did. I know he did. That man's trying to win championships. That's the energy you need. And if it made you uncomfortable, too bad. Too damn bad. If it made you uncomfortable, we trying to compete. I'm not here to be nice. I'm not here to lay down because I'm down 7 runs. That baseball etiquette stuff, man, is played. It's played, and you can't tell that to a real competitor like a Jonah Williams. So I wanted to just acknowledge that today because I think it's exciting to bring people like that into your football program. I think that matters. I think when you combine them with other guys who are like-minded, other guys who are like-minded and have been in his shoes, but these guys have also started out as kind of role players. Remember, Anthony Hill kind of was playing alongside Jalen and kind of finding his way. We kind of started using Anthony Hill as a pass rusher initially, right? Until he got his feet wet and started balling. Colin Simmons, same thing. We brought these guys along, and by the end of the season, they're primetime key players on our defense. I see the same for Jonah Williams, whether he was here for the spring or not. You can't rep the competitive fire that he's getting in these games. You can't rep that in practice, especially with no spring game or anything. What he's getting is you know, putting the bright lights on you, having to deliver in a series, right? A big series against Florida. These are good traditional baseball programs. When I think of college baseball, Florida is one of those teams that comes to mind. I have a lot of respect for their baseball program. And just competing at that level, that's the family he comes from too, man. I mean, his brother was a Major League Baseball player. These guys have been here before. That Williams family. They don't play. They're here to compete. So just wanted to touch on that. Hey, chat, as we get here, I think we got 45 on X, 40 on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe the whole bit. Appreciate y'all. Here for Sunday service. Like I said, tomorrow evening we will have Jay from Unfair Sports on, my brethren from the SEC Connect, my brethren from our college football pick show on Bleacher Report. We'll have a great conversation. It's gonna be fun. Talking Texas OU. Something y'all love to do. Something we love to do. Yeah, Jonah definitely came through last night. And that's the other thing too. It's not even just the talking or whatever. It's he literally stood on business. I'm hearing it's going to be okay, Gaddis. Your profile picture's funny, by the way. SEC Mike. That baseball coach, like he did like it. Those are the people you want to coach. The great John Thompson, that coached Georgetown basketball, always used to say, I rather tone down a maniac than coach a guy that's dead. That has no juice. Give me the maniac all day long if I'm a coach. Give me the guy that has too much juice than no juice. I can't do anything with the guy that has no juice. We can't. It's a non-starter. Royce Whitaker, thank you for the super chat, brother. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much for this and all the stuff that you do on X. Follow me over there. Jonah isn't a fool. Player evaluated. He's a baseball player who plays football straight up. Nope, I hear you. I hear you. Jonah's a ball player. He's a ball player. We got us one. Let's enjoy it. Thank you, Royce. I really appreciate that chat. Donations. I got to get the donations clip, the Umar donations clip. I got to get that in the repertoire. And start uploading some stuff. Donations. Right now, we'll have to deal with the. No, I look, the baseball. You can't rep this competitive. Yeah, you can't rep this competitive juice that he's getting right now. You can't rep that. Mm-mm. What's up, D Money? Good morning. It's okay, Royce. I was picking up what you're putting down. I thought through it. I thought you sent me a riddle for a second. It's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you. Donations. I was thinking about something because I saw Quinn kind of shifting gears here a little bit. I saw Quinn throwing yesterday with the Miami Dolphins and him handing the ball off to Ollie Gordon. And I don't know if y'all saw Quinn's rocking the 14 jersey. He was the 14th quarterback, I think. That's why he's doing that. But I get all the crust out my eyes. This is crazy. Um, 14th quarterback. I'm excited for our Texas guys, right? And their situations in the NFL. I was kind of thinking who, some of the better ideal situations. Because look, if I start going down the list, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. God bless Kelvin Banks. Get your bag. I love you. It has nothing to do with you. The Saints are going to be terrible. They're going to be terrible. This is now shaping up for them. You know, they're really bad next year because Arch is not coming out this year. But if they're really bad, they probably, that Garrett Nussmeier LSU to New Orleans transition starts to look legitimate. And then, if they're bad another year, then you got to put them in the Arch sweepstakes. But the Derek Carr retirement news, we knew, he had told everybody himself his shoulder wasn't right, and I guess they couldn't agree on how to handle it and what type of medical procedures was best for him. So he decides to medically or just retire. But the Saints are going to be bad, and I could see them start to fire sell on assets. So my boy Kelvin, man, just stay strong over there, bro. Just stay strong. I hope they are able to build a good football organization around them, but I just don't see the vision there for the Saints right as it stands right now. Maybe some changes, but I think they're going to be really, really bad. I like one guy I was thinking about that we haven't talked a whole lot about, and I don't hear a lot of scuttlebutt is Alfred Collins in San Francisco, and rival of ours if you're a Cowboys fan, but San Francisco having a down year, bringing back Robert Saleh. The guys with those physical profiles that Alfred Collins has typically thrive under. Those are the guys that the Eric Armstead types, right? The DeForest Buckner types that can play multiple positions on the defensive line, inside and out. Alfred Collins gives you that ability and size that those similar to those guys. When I think about basketball player, power forward type, uh, if, defensive lineman, that's what comes to mind. So him being in that program with a pissed off 49ers organization that's trying to get back to where they were, being in overtime for a Super Bowl, just not that long ago. Not that long ago. They trying to get back, and they got Bob Salsa in the building. Robert Saleh. Man, I think Alfred Collins is going to be well coached and ready to deliver. What's up, Will? Brother, I thought we were. Looks like you're still here in the States. This from your lips to God's ears. Will and I again. Thank you for the super chat donations. Thank you for the super chat, Will. You and I were talking this week about Jonathan Brooks, and just hopefully our brother Brooks can have that year with the Carolina Panthers to get healed up, get his body right, and really try to salvage his football career. It's really an unfortunate start, but hopefully, in your organization, we can get him upright, right, for 2026. Because you guys, drafted McMillan, you got T-Mac in there, starting to get Bryce Young some weapons, starting to get some confidence around Bryce Young. I want to see what they're able to do, once Because at this point, if the Saints are bad, it's really a three man division now, right? It's just y'all, the Falcons, and the Bucks. So you can build up pretty quick, right? That thing might look like the AFC South. Yeah, y'all. Jonah's the truth. But thanks, Will. I appreciate you, brother. Yes, sir, J Day. Yes, sir. We're just talking a little ball here on Mother's Day before we get going. After this, I'm heading to church. See, that's the thing. I already got dressed. So as soon as I finish this live, I'm gonna be getting the car ready, and hopefully my wife is ready. If she's not, that's on her, not on me. She's told me she set her alarm. I haven't heard anything about Michael Terry, any updates. What you mean? Like just practice updates or what? This is what Kyler wasn't just a first round projection. Kyler was a first round pick. Gaddis. Kyler was drafted ninth overall by the A's. Um, yeah, he went ninth overall by the A's. He had a tough decision because he got the signing bonus that he was going to receive at the time was pretty significant for going top 10 in baseball. But to the Michael Terry question, um, the updates here are this. I would say ahead of schedule in terms of his transition to receiver full time. Remember, he played every position known to man at Alamo Heights the last few years in high school, and he played a lot of running back too, and a lot of defense. So just raw, all the nuance to receiver has been, he has to transition there. But the thing is, he's so coachable and he's so athletic that you heard really good, you know, really good feedback from from the staff and from everybody regarding Michael Terry. Now, here's where I think he will be a unique weapon and something we have to look out for when it comes to Sark's offense. The recruiting pitch to Michael Terry was Puka Nakua. The recruiting pitch to him was Puka Nakua with some Debo Samuel in there. And if you think about how those guys are used at the NFL level, yeah, they play receiver, but they also play tight end, H back, blocking the edge, sealing the edge, right? Handoffs. You will see Puka Nakua. I think you even saw in the playoffs. They'll use him on jet sweep, just straight handoffs. So some of the stuff we were doing with Silas Bolden last year, I think Michael Terry could be the guy you do it with. And yes, you're doing it with somebody that is 6'3", 215. But he is the same type of physical frame as Puka Nakua, a little bit bigger than Debo, obviously. But that's the type of piece that Sark said I haven't even had in my offense yet, of somebody that can do all that. Like if they got into a jam, let's say, Michael Terry could play running back. He could just move to the room and actually play that position. So, oh, you are awake. God bless. I was just, hey, we first of all, you should be getting dressed instead of watching the show. But thank you for your viewership, Brianna. I appreciate you, babe. I saw Michael Terry projected as a backup to Moore at the slot. Yeah, he's gonna play all over the place. He's gonna play all over the place. The athleticism on this team is gonna be crazy. The athleticism on this team is gonna be crazy. Because those are the type of chess pieces you have on offense and defense. I mean, think about practice. Shoot, practice is gonna be insane. It's gonna look like freaking 5A, 6A All-Star games out there. And we haven't even talked about Arch yet today. Man. And don't worry, we will at some point. Oh, thank you. I don't know if is this my barber. I don't think it is, but hey, I appreciate it. But with the quarterback room situation, it's funny because I think a lot of people are making a mountain out of a molehill, um, with them just acquiring depth and getting some people in the room that have just experience. I don't see anything uh, wrong with that. So yeah, hey, as Jonah Williams showed us this weekend, sometimes you got to pop out and show a naysayer. Okay, sometimes you just got to pop out and do it, and that's what Jonah did this weekend. That's the energy we're gonna ride into the week on, right? I want dogs in my program. I want dogs on my offense. I want dogs on my defense. I want dogs on special teams. That's what time we on. The pass rush is definitely going to help the secondary. We will have a conversation. Look, the same type of conversations we're having about the replacing the experience of the interior offensive line and the brain trust there, the time in, the experience. I mean, it's not just physical experience and all that. It's also Jake Majors 4 years, 5 years of starting, Hayden Connor 4 years of starting. Like there is a lot of cerebral corporate knowledge that did leave the program. I'm not gonna front. Um, DJ Campbell's still there. Cole Hudson's played a lot of football. Cole Hudson knows a lot. He's playing a different position, but he's played a lot of football. So we're not just wildly inexperienced where it's a whole bunch of guys that have not played before, right? But it's going to be a little bit different. And again, like I said on our run game show, we will need to adapt the offensive line. And this is on Sark, right? As a play designer and as a play caller. Remember, those are two different things: play designer, play caller. Adapting the offense to that group will be key. Just the same way you're going to adapt to what does Arch do versus what Quinn did. What does Arch do versus what Quinn did? Okay. And adapting to that. Same thing that will need to happen with the interior offensive line. Now, if we go to the defensive side and we're having this conversation on how PK is looking to structure this, how Dwayne Aquina is looking to coach this and put these pieces together within our defensive secondary, that pass rush is going to help you, especially early in the season. Now, we want them to get to the point where they're able to read, be aggressive, and you can't always rely on your pass rush. But I do think that this is going to be the best, just organic Texas pass rush that we've seen in a while. Where we're not, because PK is already a guy that doesn't love to just live on throwing out heaters all the time, right? He rather, send four and have seven in coverage. He rather send four and have seven in coverage, right? So now we saw in the playoffs, if he needs to, he will send the heater and whatnot. And sometimes that can backfire, right? Like we sent the nickel blitz on that Travion Henderson screen pass. Gilbo was blitzing, didn't see him. So sometimes you're a little reluctant too. He's like, that's exactly why I don't ever blitz. I don't blitz like that. If you're a defense versus, and I agree with that. That's what PK wants to do. Yep. Now the next 2 years that we have Colin, especially, Because I do believe this is health willing. This is Anthony Hill's last year. He's especially with I know he's pissed off that he was not a Buckus nominee as a true sophomore. So this year he should. I mean, especially the combination of adding a Spence to the room. His running buddy's going to be most likely be Leona Leifau, who's right there with him in terms of they've both grown up together in this defense. They are the central brain trust in the middle. You got Taft behind you as well. Um, all the things that Anthony Hill's already shown he can do. It's just putting another season of tape out there and you're good to go. But this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year where we are going to look back and it's going to be like, wow, I can't believe Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, and Jonah Williams played on the same defense in college at one point. Kind of like how it was at Miami. People look back and they're like, damn, did you know that Ed Reed, Jonathan Vilma, and Sean Taylor and Vince Wilfork were all on the same team at one point? That they all like cross paths, you know? Sean Taylor was like a freshman then, and Ed Reed was a senior. But that's my point. At one point, may Sean Taylor rest in peace. At one point, all these real talented guys all played together on the same team. Yep, Justice Terry. Just you know, guys that you would build your whole defense around. Quite frankly, we got 3 of them, 4 of them. So yeah, we do need to have a conversation around corner right now. I could give you 3 or 4 different combinations of what that's going to look like. And I'm not even talking about like the safeties. I'm pretty sure it's going to be you're going to roll out their first snap, Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald. That would be the safest call, especially not knowing the health of Derek Williams. And Jonah's going to rotate in to start out with. And then you have, you know, Johnson Rubel and Xavier, and Johnson Rubel's trying to play nickel as well, which he should, learning cross training. But the star position and the corner position is going to be interesting. We know Manny's one, right? Manny's probably our not probably, he's our number one corner going into this year. Just experience, talent, all that, trying to put it all together his third year. My goal for Manny is, hey, how do we get to an all conference level of performance? Right? We had a rocky road at the end of last season. He was solid in the regular season. Then he got, had a rock, them the freaking T. Higgins, what was the other brother's name that used to play for Clemson that hurt his neck? Those 2 guys got freaking reincarnated for Clemson in the playoff game and started going crazy. Right? So um it's it's tough, but I liked how he battled back. He made a big play for us, Manny Muhammad, in the Arizona State game. For those that don't remember, and confidence is key. Getting that confidence back up to where it needs to be the player that we know he has been, and an even better player of what he can be. Right. So that's really important as well. And there's an offensive uptick that needs to happen, by the way, for Texas that we need to see, because just looking up something here real quick. We finished averaging 33 points per game, and we were in the 20s and 30s in passing. We were in the 60s and running. Got to be better. Got to be better in those areas. We can't. I don't think you can just be that lopsided again, counting on the defense every game. It was Justin Ross. That's who I was thinking of. T. Higgins and Justin Ross. Those two dudes that we ended up playing against last year ended up becoming dudes like that. It was Justin Ross. That's who I couldn't remember um, the dude's name. Let me see. Oh, rock the drums. Can you give info on this new cornerback commit? I believe you're talking about Hayward Howard, who recently committed to Texas. Hayward Howard. Here's why I'm excited about him. The boy is 6'3". He's 6'3", what, a buck 70 or something like that. I think he has the frame that they're looking for. When you think of a traditional, tall, long, lean press man corner, in our case, being able to play traditional cover three like a Richard Sherman, right? If we're not playing press man, playing a cover three, using that technique like we use with the Ryan Watts, playing against the boundary. Hayward Howard is a name to look out for. He was a 4-star. He is out of Louisiana, Edna Carr program. They've produced a lot of talent over the years down there in the Louisiana. I believe they won the state championship this past year in Louisiana. If I'm not mistaken, correct me. But yeah, exciting prospect. With these corners, when you get somebody with that frame and that size and who has started having that uptick in performance on different circuits and training and whatnot, um, those players, those type of players, you look at them as a ball of clay of what you can mold them into. If you're PK, if you're Dwayne Aquina, and saying, man, that's a kid that it's going to be a hell of a boundary corner for us. if can learn ball, get physical, all those things. But the raw traits are there. So yeah, Hayward Howard being the latest commit in the 2026 class for Texas. I love seeing Texas going to Louisiana and recruiting. We got Derek Williams from Louisiana, right? From a defensive back standpoint, anytime I can get receivers, DBs, Louisiana is talent rich. So good pickup for Texas there. Good question. Cade Phillips. Yeah, Cade Phillips too. With him, um, it's another good one. I think he's gonna play a lot right away this year. Not necessarily start, but we got to see how how Gilbo's going to look playing outside. It's a big question. We know he can play star. He was our start at star for us the entire season. But what will that look like outside, right? Cade Phillips is a 5-star, just super talented player, and we've heard some good stuff with him. Kobe Black played last year, right? And played some meaningful snaps last year. So the thing that's going to come down to in fall camp, y'all, and this is going to sound like coach speak, but it's the truth. It's consistency. It's consistency. It's going to be two C's: consistency and communication. Consistency and communication. If you see something, say something. Because the people that left this program, the Jade Barons, they were talkers. Going to a Texas football game, I'm saying being at the stadium, because you can't always see it on TV depending on what views they show you. But the one thing, and I honestly, watching a football game, I prefer watching it on TV because I get more angles than I do in person, having one angle and then the replay. But the one thing you do get, especially if you're sitting close enough in the stadium, is you can hear what's going on the field a lot of times. You can hear, and I could always hear Barron and them talking, Makuba Their problem solving on the fly, like they were constant lines of communication. And so I just I think that's going to be key with, hey, if you're in the game, are you the guy that is really good and talented, but when you're in the game, we got to dumb the defense down? We can't roll coverage anymore. We can't do this. We can't do that because you only know our base coverages, or we can do some cool shit on the fly. Hey, if they go into bunch, we're going to show them this. If they motion into this, we're going to do this. Like the more complex stuff, because that's what's going to determine. And some of that stuff you only gather as you've played, quite frankly, because you're in such it's a reactionary position to begin with. Yeah, no, Michael Taft will definitely guide it, but it's not going to be on the field 100% of the time. And you want the thing is, as Jade Barron talked about, this is a pay it forward program. You want to pass that knowledge down to where, guys know, hey, you come on the field, you need to talk to me now. What are you saying? What's going on? Do you got 2 or 3 people over there? If they motion to trips, you have inside leverage. I'll play outside the numbers. Things of that sort. So, yeah, I mean, but they've already said they're going to play a lot of guys early in the season. That's why I'm not even too concerned about. I think we make too much banter about who's starting is always a fun fan topic, but who's in the game in the fourth quarter? Because this goes back to like the Jonathan Brooks, CJ Baxter thing from 2023 when CJ Baxter opened the season as the starter. But third quarter, fourth quarter, when is trying to win the football game and ice this thing, who's in the game? It was Jonathan Brooks. So when money is on the table, the 5 that are on the field, those are the 5 that the coaches really trust. That will be the answer to your question. And eventually that will be the group. But in this era, right, in this era, especially of a lot of teams rotate now especially early in the games, because you're playing a longer season. Sark has talked about this. We played 16 games last year. And if we had gone to the national championship, we would have played a 17th game. Nah, I need a lot of people getting reps early. And I'm not going to load up unnecessary snaps on other guys when I can kind of save them some snaps too. Right? Like, we're still not for long, but we're still in the 85 scholarship era. Like, play as many people that can play will play. I'll put it that way. As many people can play will play. For that very reason. Because it's 2 things. We're in an era now where you are playing all these kids are going to be playing a lot of snaps, especially if you're going to go to the playoffs. You do not want to be top heavy and load up people's bodies. And by the time you get to January, you got kids with a crazy amount of snaps on their body and they can't run that race at the end of the season. And then you look back and you're like, oh yeah, maybe we should have been rotating a little bit more early, or if guys go down, right? Both ways. But it's also understanding you're going to be playing different types of opponents. Remember last year I told y'all this was big when we were prepping for Michigan. we may not play nickel all the time. We may have to have three linebackers on the field against these dudes. They're going to line up and try to play in the phone booth against us. They're not going to be spreading us out, right? Like they're going to have multiple tight ends on the field. They're going to have a lot of big personnel in the game. So this week, some of my safeties, some of you guys that are DBs probably aren't going to get as many snaps because that's what the matchup indicates. Some of you guys in the linebacker room, I'm going to need to rotate y'all a little bit more. Some of you guys on the defensive line, I'm going to need to rotate y'all a little bit more. We're going to have to be in big, short yardage package half the damn game because of who we're playing. And then if we go play Levy at Mississippi State, I'm gonna need to rotate a whole bunch of people. They're playing very shooting, spreading people out. Like it just depends on who are we playing this week. So the more people I have, the more I can adjust and adapt to what the opponent is doing, right? Or I have a certain player that can help in a matchup. Let's say I got a tight end. We're going up against somebody that has like some crazy ass tight end. All right, Jelani, you might have to go man up or on this, or this is your like. I'm just throwing out hypotheticals. I'm not saying that's how the defense is going to work, but or hey, Jonah, we're going to play you in a special package against XYZ on third down against this particular guy this week. I love the fact that our defense is constructed to have those type of options and to be able to defend people that way. The more options that the coaches have, the more creative and ultimately productive I think they can be in their game planning against the opponent. So just our ability to be as multiple as possible, as Alan McAdams said here, positionless rotational football is the future. And it most definitely is. Most definitely is. Remember, Jonah played linebacker, played safety, play on the outside. You want guys that can play all over. What was the question about Hayward? Shout out to Pooh over in South Korea. Almost midnight there. It's crazy the time element, just almost like a full day ahead of us, but shout out. Yeah, I'm excited to see how our defensive line folks gel and what the rotations will be there, right? Who are the guys that are going to be in on third down to get after the quarterback versus who are the guys that are going to be my jug butts? We eventually found a jug butt in Bill Norton. Early in the season, it was Survey. Remember, early last season, we were kind of getting a little frustrated, but then again, we were used to having the two best guys in the country at the game, in T. Sweat and Byron Murphy. What will this group look like? We got to that rotation. Remember, I told you guys, Kenny Baker. It will take him time to find kind of the pieces in the game because it wasn't just Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton. It was all those guys. Who do we have on short yardage? Who's the jug butt we're going to put in there at the goal line or in this situation? And we found those pieces. Now we got to do that again. That passion on the field, Sports Talk Jay, is infectious too. This is a good question here. Does our running game drop off with the loss of choice? I hope not. But I'm not gonna lie. Look. I'm not just a sunshine pumper just for the sake of being one. But I am. I want to see. I hope not. But this is who I will put it on. Sark. I'm putting it on Sark because to me, Tashard Choice really held stuff together when things could have gone real south real quick after Baxter's injury in camp. And the fact that we were still able to have a really productive running game for the most part last season, even with us being middle of the pack. But the run calls on short yardage were inconsistent because we did get, when Jarrett Gibson was in there, I thought we were more successful. Um, the offensive line being more outside zone oriented than being able to really just go up the field and push forward in terms of inside zone was a factor. That was that group, which is what it is. And there were certain teams where we just couldn't run outside zone. Like Ohio State, for example, looking at all statistics, and we knew this going into the Cotton Bowl. I talked about this on this channel. They were the best defense against outside zone last season in college football. Like Georgia was very good defending outside zone. They had the people to do it too. Like they weren't going to get beat on that, right? So having your team in a different position to be a little bit more nuanced in the run game, but also in the red zone and putting your players in a better position. Like, I don't think what we did to end the Ohio State game was putting your players in the best position to win at the end of that game when we got down there. And I'll stay on that. I know people say, "Oh, well, Ohio State was so good inside that we had no choice but to run outside." I'm not running outside on Caleb Downs and Ransom and Hancock and all those guys. Those guys are freaks. Same people we're talking about over here. That's what they have. So no, I'm not. No, I don't think we were ever going to get to the edge on that play. I'm sorry. I know what he was trying to do. We ran inside on first down and blah, blah, blah. Like, nah. I would have. Nah, we going to bang a couple times and then try to throw the ball. At least bang a couple more times. Because on that first down play, Gibson didn't technically lose yards. He just got back to the line of scrimmage. Try it again. Change the tempo. Change the snap count. Do something different, but run it inside again. I ain't going laterally on these dudes. To me, that plays more into their hands than than the former. But that to me is just as much of a function of where this running game will go. Essentially, Sark's discernment and how he is calling the game. Arch will help with this. Arch will help with this. If a linebacker just has to stay home because we're running zone read because the quarterback might take off, that helps you. Now, I don't want our goal line offense to become we have to run Arch every single time in short yardage, because that to me is not the move in a long season. Hell no. We were fine with that when he was the backup. That's different. With him as a starter, I'm not relying. Every now and again is fine because you want to keep the defense honest. But we ain't going to just go full tilt running him every short yardage. So you need to find that mix with your play calling, with your offensive line, and with your backs. No, we are not doing Bam Bam Sam March. No, absolutely not. That is not what he's here for. Like I said, it was fine last year. Not this year. Yeah, the Baxter thing. The Baxter thing, guys, they've got to play the long game. They've got to play the long game. For his sake, for that young man's health, they got to play the long game. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up here because I got to get ready to head off to church and Mother's Day festivities. I really appreciate the Sunday service conversation. Another Sunday service brought to you guys here at Fanatic Perspective. Always Mother's Day is always tough for me. Emotional day. I lost my mother 4 years ago. Many of you guys were here with me on this channel when that happened during COVID. Lost her to COVID. So just Always a bittersweet day, a day I try to reflect with good memories. But my mom was a crazy fanatic football fan. So I feel right at home honoring her, talking to you guys on this day in this space. And I know she'd be very proud of me and this channel and everything we've done. She used to comment all the time on the channel and be in the comments. I think she even had a couple burner accounts. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, just be thankful for those of you who still have the benefit of having your mother. Be thankful. We're actually going to go out with and celebrate my mother-in-law, who we're very thankful for. And yeah, just those of you who have kids, your wife or your baby mama or your sister that has kids that have given you a nephew or a niece. Be grateful, be thankful, um, and have a good one. We will be on tomorrow with Jay from Unfair Sports, my brother from the SEC Connect, my brother from Bleacher Report, and remember, subscribe, hit the like button. We are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers by Columbus, right? August 30th, when Texas plays Ohio State season opener, trying to get to 15K. So we're gonna look. I'm just committing. I'm going to put the work in on my part, but I need you guys' help, especially the 30%, 37% of you guys that watch on a regular basis but are not subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button. It is free to show love. I appreciate you guys very much. I'll see you tomorrow night. Hook 'em. Horns always up.